Why did Buffett hang on so long? Warren Buffett, one of the greatest investors alive, once joked he should have shot the Wright brothers before they ever got airborne. He wasn't joking about physics. He was joking about airline stocks he refused to sell for years, even as the losses grew. Why would the world's most disciplined investor cling to a losing position long after the numbers said to walk away? The answer isn't about airlines at all. It's a wiring flaw shared by every human brain, called loss aversion. Experiments suggest we feel losing something roughly twice as intensely as we feel gaining that exact same thing. Finding $20 on the sidewalk feels nice for a moment. Losing $20 can ruin your whole afternoon. This isn't limited to money. It quietly shapes a decision almost everyone makes without ever noticing they're making it. Researchers Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky spent decades proving the human mind treats losses and gains on different scales entirely. Once you know losing hurts twice as much as gaining, you start noticing a very specific kind of stubbornness everywhere. It's the refusal to walk away from something simply because you've already put so much into it. Psychologists call it the sunk cost fallacy, persisting with something purely because of what you've already invested in it. The money, time, or effort you already spent is gone either way. Walking away doesn't cost you anything further. But walking away is the moment the loss becomes official, and loss aversion fights that moment with everything it has. That's the trap Buffett fell into with his airline stocks. Selling would make the loss real and final. So instead, he held on for years, watching the position sink further, hoping the loss might quietly undo itself. Eventually, the losses grew too large to ignore, and he sold anyway, at the worst possible moment. If loss aversion can trap the most experienced investor alive, it can trap an entire banking system too. We'll come back to that. First, notice something stranger. Some companies don't just wait for this wiring to fire. They study it, and then they design their products specifically so that walking away feels like losing something valuable. One of the clearest examples lives inside a service almost everyone has open right now. The zombie subscription researchers have a name for it. The zombie subscription, a service you barely use but keep paying for anyway. A 2025 case study found streaming platforms lean on loss aversion, tying your account to a personalized library built just for you. Canceling doesn't feel like saving a little money each month. It feels like losing a library built around you. That's the exact same twist from Buffett's stock chart, just wearing a different costume, hiding inside a monthly bill. Remember that unnoticed daily decision from earlier? For most people, it's simply not canceling something they no longer use. Months of watched episodes start to feel like an investment, and canceling starts to feel like the sunk cost trap again. Built-in urgency. Streaming isn't the only place this design shows up. A different platform builds urgency instead of attachment. The same study found TikTok uses artificial scarcity and time pressure to push viewers toward impulse purchases. A countdown timer or a "only a few left" label doesn't sell you on wanting the item more. It reframes not buying right now as a loss you're about to suffer, and loss aversion does the rest. This is the same lever Netflix pulls, just aimed at your wallet in the next 90 seconds instead of the next month. Individually, these tricks nudge one purchase or one unused subscription. But this same fear can move at a much larger scale. When the fear goes systemic. Earlier we mentioned loss aversion could trap an entire banking system. Here's exactly how that happened. When depositors grow uncertain about a bank's safety, some rush to withdraw their money immediately, all at once. This happened at Northern Rock in Britain, where long queues formed outside branches during the bank's crisis. Here's the strange part. Deposit insurance already guaranteed their money was safe. The queues formed anyway. The math said the money was protected, but loss aversion doesn't calculate. It just reacts to uncertainty. Seeing others rush toward the exits made staying in line feel like the safer, less painful option. One stock chart, one subscription screen, one shopping countdown, one bank queue, all running on the exact same rule. The rule never changes. Losing feels roughly twice as heavy as gaining, no matter how large or small the stakes are. Knowing the trick exists doesn't erase it, but researchers behind that same study proposed some genuinely useful countermeasures. 1. A cooling-off period, a short mandatory pause between deciding to buy and actually completing the purchase. Another, sunk cost visualizations, tools that show you plainly what you've already spent, so it stops quietly steering new decisions. A third, simple usage reminders for subscriptions, a monthly nudge showing what you're paying for and whether you touched it. None of these fixes require willpower. They just interrupt the reflex long enough for a slower, calmer decision to catch up. You can build a rougher version of the same interruption yourself, starting with the sunk cost trap specifically. Instead of asking how much you've already spent, ask a sharper question. Would you start this again today, from zero? For subscriptions, treat canceling an unused service as a small win, not a loss, since the money simply returns to you. For countdown timers and few left labels, remember urgency is usually manufactured on a schedule that has nothing to do with you. Even Buffett eventually unlearned the reflex, selling those airline stocks and naming the mistake publicly instead of hiding it. That joke about shooting the Wright brothers wasn't him mocking himself. It was him naming the trap out loud. Naming a trap while you're standing inside it is the first real step toward walking out of it. The rule that losing hurts twice as much as gaining isn't going away. Your own brain built it that way. The only real choice is whether you notice it steering you before it quietly makes the decision for you. Next time, we'll look at a different bias, one that convinces almost everyone they're the exception to every rule but this one. Until then, watch for the moment something starts feeling like a loss and ask if it actually is one.